letting go is not about forgetting the past. I don't think you really can forget. I mean, I'm sure there's things that you can forget, but I don't want you listening to this to think that when I say let go, I mean forget, because everybody's past is different. Everybody's gone through different things, and I'm sure some things are just impossible to forget. There are some core memories that I have that I cannot forget, good and bad. So it's not about forgetting, but it's letting go is about releasing the desire to control, judge, or change something outside of you. It's about letting things be as they are. The past is the past. At this point, it cannot be changed or altered, and we don't really have the time travel capabilities to alter it in any way as of right now. But when you let go of any psychological, emotional, mental holds that, whether it's beliefs, the past, your environment, people in your life, whatever hold they have on you, and you're releasing that. You're not trying to control, you're not trying to change, you're not judging for what has happened or what was. It just is. As we talk about why it's important to let go, just keep that in the back of your mind. What are you struggling with that it's a result of your desire to control or judge something or change something? What are those things? And I would encourage you to write those down, because that's gonna help you to identify. Okay, these are some areas where I just need to let go. I need to let go of the control. I need to let go of the judgment I have around myself and my decisions and the choices I've made, because I'm here today. And one thing I would like you to take away from this podcast is just be here now. Live in this moment. You could have gotten to an argument 5 minutes ago, but right now it's a new moment. And you can choose right now to respond differently, to make different choices, to just be different. You can choose to be happy. You can choose to, be free. That's a choice I think, we forget as we get older that we can make. We can choose to be happy. Even if the world is crumbling around us, there's still a space for gratitude. There's still a space to say, you know what? I am alive to even feel a way about this situation, and for that I'm grateful. How is dwelling on the past helping you in any way at any moment? When you sit and you ruminate and you dwell on the past and you're blaming this event in your childhood, how is blaming hot childhood trauma or undesirable experiences helping you? How is just ruminating and focusing on the past and, well, this happened, how is that helping you? How is that helping you become a better person? How is that helping you respond better, make better choices? How is that helping you achieve your goals? And in my experience, it's not. It doesn't. And if it does, more power to you. But does it serve you to blame the past? Does it help you in any way to dwell on the past? Again, in my experience, it doesn't. It doesn't help me in any way. It doesn't help me or serve me in any way to blame certain events, whether or not I was at fault. It doesn't help at all. And so if it's not helping, why are we even wasting the time and the energy doing that? Why are we wasting the time and the energy ruminating on that? You know? And I tend to, I have a problem where I will ruminate on things, especially if it's like something social. I get really in my head about it. I'm like, oh my God, how do they feel? I probably shouldn't have said this, blah, 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 blah. And that's not helpful. Like, chances are they probably don't even care. And one thing I do, and I don't want to get ahead of myself here, but one thing I do when I get into those thought loops is I'll be like, if I was the other person and I experienced this, I'm not thinking about that. I'm not questioning and thinking about, oh, why did they say it this way, or that was weird. Like, okay, next. I'm moved on to the next thing. I'm thinking about the next thing. I'm thinking about what's going on in my life, what bill I have to pay, what podcast I'm going to do next. Like, that's already, it happened, and I'm already on to the next thing. And sometimes you need to treat yourself as an objective person. Like, Not to say you should be out here dissociating, but you do sometimes need to look at yourself from that objective third person view. Like, okay, if I was on the other end and, someone was, talking to me and they got nervous about something, I'm not thinking about that. I'm just listening to what they're saying. I'm taking the information that they're saying and I'm applying it to my life or whatever. I'm just listening. And so sometimes I feel that we definitely judge ourselves more than anybody is going to judge us, because we know our internal landscape. We know what internally we're going through. We know what our thought process is. There's a lot more emotions involved there. But it is, and it's something I do quite often, it is very helpful to kind of take a step back and it's like, okay, if someone was walking by you, are you just like look at them and you acknowledge them and that's it. You're not judging them like, oh, they have this, they have that. I mean, sometimes we do, but after they're out of your perspective, they're out of your perception, you're not thinking about them. I'm not thinking about the people I walked by in the grocery store, what they were wearing. I'm not thinking about that at all. So it's crazy that we think people are thinking about us the same way we're thinking about us, and they're not. They're not. Only you are thinking about you to the level, the depth, the degree that you're thinking about yourself. And that should give you a lot of relief to know that the things that I want to say haunt us, the things that, we focus on, people don't notice our flaws right away. People aren't, evaluating every aspect of our personality, every aspect of what we say right away. There's no one here to pass judgment besides me and myself. And I think a lot of times as we go through life, where we think we're getting judgment from others, it's really coming from ourselves, and we're projecting that judgment onto them. And it can be tough. Nobody wants to be judged unjustly. And so it's important that we recognize when we're doing the same to ourselves, when we're judging ourselves unjustly. But anyway, back to the point of blaming your past. Now, I will say blaming the past, it gives you an excuse. It gives you an out to accept mediocrity for yourself in your life, when you can say, "Oh, well, I'm like this because XYZ happened in my past and, whatever." It just gives you an out. It gives you an excuse. Like, I am this way because this happened. And it's like, well, you choose to be that way, you know. Granted, there are some situations that cause irreversible damage, and I don't want to take away from that. But for the sake of this conversation, most things I feel in life, we choose to blame the past because it gives us an out. It gives us an excuse to not be better, to not change, to not improve. If you can let go of your past, and letting go of your past is not something that happens in a moment. It's not something that happens like right now, okay, I'm letting go of my past, that's it. No, it takes constant work. It takes constant, working at and just uncovering where you're still holding on to the past to be able to let go, or to be able to heal yourself in whatever way. But it is a choice to continue to act in a way because you're blaming your past for how you're choosing to respond and act in a moment. That is a choice, you know. It is a choice to let your past guide your present and future actions. It's okay if that's the choice that you need to make. It's okay if you need to take a rest day or a couple days. It's okay if you need to work on other things. It's okay if other things in your life have to get reprioritized. That's fine. It happens. But keep in mind that you make those choices. But you also, with making those choices, you don't need to beat yourself up for, well, shoulda, coulda, woulda, if I still did the thing. Like, you're not perfect. You're human. You're not a machine. And it's okay where if you have to make compromises every now and then, just because things come up, and that's part of life. Be okay with the choices that you make. Some things are a higher priority than others, and that's fine. But don't beat yourself up and judge yourself and ruminate on, well, I could have just done this, I could have just done that. No, it's okay. Try again tomorrow. Give yourself time. See how you feel in 30 minutes. Sometimes we might feel not the best, and I think we give ourselves an out. Like, oh, I don't feel good. Nope, not going to do anything at all today. Well, you don't feel good right now. Give yourself an hour. See how you feel after the hour. Keep in mind that if you're blaming the past and you find yourself making choices that you're not proud of, you don't have to continue to make choices that you're not proud of. You don't have to continue to make choices that don't align with your values and core beliefs. You don't have to do that. No one is making you do that. That's all you. Like when I say everything is within you, everything is you, even your perspective, your worldview, all of that is you. You know, you don't know your own frame of reference. You don't know your the limits and the fallacies in your own worldview until you go and open your perspective, open your minds, expose yourself to new things until you realize, like, oh, wow, that was a limiting belief. I believed this whole time. And here someone is and they're acting as if they don't have that same belief. Sometimes that's all it takes